Hello there, this is Indie, and today I wanted to give you a quick guide into, well, how you actually can grow on YouTube, and this is put in quotations because growing is not one of those other videos where you say get 1000 subs in 2 weeks and do this and do that, blah 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 blah. Just consider most of these tutorials, if you want to call that, are basically just scams. When you see their subscribers, how well they do, they just, pretend, and this is in the end just clickbait. They don't give you any real advice, because why should they? If somebody is really successful in anything, do you think they would share their secret knowledge with the general public for free? This is just an illusion. So if you always see those kind of videos, get rich and so on, it's just all scams, just some pyramid schemes and so on. So don't believe in this kind of stuff. If somebody is really competent, then they will share it with their friends and some realistic business partners, not just with the whole world, because if everybody does it, then it's not remarkable anymore and everybody becomes a trillionaire. Yeah, not really. So this is basically for those guys who want to see a journey from 0 subscribers to 1000, which is quite substantial, but of course there's always air upwards, so no problem here. And then I will just give you a quick review into my channel, how all those metrics are working. So this is a little bit longer introduction, sorry for all the rambling, but there are lots of things which I'm gonna discuss here, and hopefully that will help you. If you are, for example, a subscriber of mine, you just want to see the regular approach, how I do things and how I make my videos and so on and so on. Maybe a few things you like, and then you can actually copy that. Or if you are a YouTuber or one who wants to start the YouTube channel, here there are some really critical points. If you are starting with YouTube's, well, just be careful, because some things will really knock you down if you don't pay attention to that, because they are definitely crucial and important. So what I will go through, first of all, I will just show you the history, how my channel got created, then some pre-thoughts if you are a YouTube creator, so what you should pay attention in advance. Then later I will just go into mine, because I guess it serves a good example how not to make it, because of course, even though I reached the 1000 milestone, I had to put in more work than it actually needed to. So there are things which you can consider. I will just give you a quick introduction why that happened. So if maybe I do a second channel, I will definitely avoid doing those things. And next of all, how the future projections are of my channel, what my goals are, what I want to do with the channel, what's actually the idea behind it. So these things, if there's one thing which you actually want to know, well, I guess you have to listen to me ramble a little bit. So let's start with the easy part in the introduction. So I'm Indie, and I started to do in Game Maker Studio my games because I wanted to produce my games. Then I came to some hard blocks because I wanted to do, let's say, some specific things, but I didn't find any great tutorials, and that I mean in Game Maker and YouTube. So here there are lots of great channels, so let's go into the channels, but most of them just start and then they just leave you open because they just go over the basics, and then they leave you hang dry, which is not the best way, because they actually never finish a game from end to start. I guess most of the channels, and so or let's say, for example, very specific knowledge is never transported because, well, they never show you that, and therefore I did this channel to remedy it, because once I am a kind of a repository, because as you can see, I don't have a structure where, for example, I say, hey, now we go game number 2, game number 3, and then we just go from those linear approaches, for example, where you just program a game from end to start. I rather did it because I wanted to have for every thing which actually you need in Game Maker Studio, maybe sometimes not. For example, this action screen, it's cool, not everybody wants to have it, no problem, so you just pick out what you actually need in the end, because, well, I thought this is the way to go, and therefore you can just browse to your heart's content and just find the stuff you actually need, and then maybe you get some impulses and learn programming on the way. So this is the idea behind my channel. So why did I do that with Game Maker Studio? Well, because I thought, first of all, I like the engine, it is pretty decent, you can put out games quite fast, so this is a thing which I definitely like. And therefore it is the learning curve is pretty sweet. And then I had to do some digging and some researching, because let's face it, not everybody is using Game Maker Studio. So there are some, well, let's call them channels. So for example, if you just go on YouTube and say Game Maker channels, there are a few ones which are basically the hard hitters, which is Heartbeast, Friendly Cosmonaut. She is one of the bigger ones. Actually, her tutorials are really sweet, so highly recommend her. GM Wolf is a good standard. Then this one is definitely not bad. Lost Talent, really like this guy. Beyond Us Gaming, and then I don't know where Sean Spalding is, but this is one of the bigger ones. And the funny part is Yo-Yo Games doesn't lead the hit list, even though this is their engine. Sean Spalding is dwarfing them, which is kind of funny, but this guy worked for them, so just take that into account. As you can see, Game Maker channel, 8 subscribers, Game Maker TV, 1 video. So a lot of things are there, but most people just drop out because they see this is quite a lot of work. So if you are a new guy to YouTube, or girl, then you maybe have to consider what your target audience is. For example, what I checked out, there are about roughly 200,000 licenses for Game Maker Studio on Steam. So you can just approximate, okay, there is some demand for that. Of course, Unity is almost 3 times bigger. So concerning the engine, more people have it because it is at start free. So this is the thing, and Unity has some really interesting graphical details. Of course, later on maybe it's not as good because it's more expensive, but this is another topic. Then you just have to consider, okay, what is my reach, what is my target audience, because my target audiences are developers like me who were kind of, well, hanging drying and wanted to actually get some decent content, because most of the guys first of all couldn't put out enough videos because there is so many topics you can actually do. And for example, here Heartbeast has 328 videos. And where do we have Spalding? Because he's a curious case. He has almost the same as Heartbeast, but he has 260 videos, and still he is one of the leading ones. And here I just digged out, and this is very interesting. The guy had from year 0 to year 5. What is that? So he needed to get his 40k subscribers, he needed 7 years, and to get, oh, it was actually 4k, my bad. So he needed, I guess, what was it, in 4 or 5 years he had 4k subscribers, and then he jumped in 7 years he just basically quadrupled, doesn't matter. So after 7 years he went from 4k to 40k subscribers, which is just substantial. So as you can see, once you grow exponentially. So you just don't go up, you just, well, the curve goes up and up. And this is a thing which I actually see in my channel as well. So what you see, for example, if it would be linear growth, then it would be a line, but this is just slightly tilting a little bit more and more and more. This is the way YouTube works, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending what you want to see it, because there are some quirks, and if you are starting, this will be a hard grind, and it is not just easy peasy, because, well, you have to consider in which area you want to go. So first of all, let's say you are a new YouTuber and you're thinking, okay, I want to have, let's say, something for gaming. So gaming is one of the most competitive and biggest audiences on YouTube. I guess this is the first one or the second one, and the other one, I guess, it's some beauty channels, so makeup tutorials and all that jazz. So these are the two big competitors, and they are pretty easy to get in, and your viewers will grow quite fast. Why is that so? Because YouTube is great for cat videos and for entertainment. Even though maybe I am an educational channel, it says games. This is wrong. I'm education. Well, Social Blade doesn't get that correctly. You just have to think about what your core audience is and what they can expect of you. But so in some areas, for example education, you will have the most resistant and the lowest, first of all, sub count, and second of all, retention, which is basically how long people are actually watching your videos. So in my field, it is super difficult to keep the guys in one place, because then some people get bored after 1 minute 40, 50, and then just click on another video and on the other one. But this is not how tutorials work. Tutorials are just one long, sometimes maybe annoying, and a lot of times just something which you need to concentrate on. And this is a thing nowadays. It's getting more difficult to actually keep your attention focused in one place. This is of course easier with some lightly digestible stuff, let's say like lifestyle and cooking, which you see all over the place, and these people, or fitness, and these channels are easier because you just sit back, relax, and take the stuff in. And this is definitely a thing which you don't have in education. So here my field is one of the most difficult ones, because first of all, people won't be sticking long enough around, they won't be subscribing as fast, and this is the worst part, they demand. So you cannot just go and babble and just do some well, pointless stuff. You need to deliver. For example, if I say laser reflection, you need to deliver that laser, else people just say buy, and that's it. So this is the one thing. If you are preparing for YouTube, just consider what your target audience is and how you want to approach them, and what do you have to think, not what, for example, is great for you, but you have to think out of the box and think, okay, what would be something which people actually want to see. This is very important. You cannot just produce videos and then you're done. This doesn't work at all. I've seen like some channels which have almost the same amount of videos like me. I have like, what do I have? 183, and then super low viewer count and sub count extremely low, because it was not organized and people don't know what their channel is about, and then they just leave because people just have a very short attention span to concerning videos. And just nowadays it's part of technology. This is quite interesting. It used to be that people could focus on one thing quite long, but this is nowadays not the case, because we have distractions everywhere. For example, our cell phones are the biggest distraction ever conceived, and therefore what we do with cell phones and browsing and internet, we don't save information, we just save the index, so where we can actually find stuff. So nobody can read maps anymore, we just have Google Maps. So this is just a thing you need to keep in mind. It's not let's say something negative, it's just the way people got morphed into another way of thinking, because we have too many informations, and then you just save the way, or the anchor to the information you need. So let's go in here, and here this is just, for example, the inside of a YouTube channel. So for example, if you haven't seen one, you have a dashboard, and then you have your videos, and then they just show when you pointed them, then how many people actually commented on that, how many people liked it or disliked it, and then how many actually were played. And then you have analytics. This is the most important part, because here you will get lots of stuff. So if you don't want to watch this video till the end, my biggest advice for you, if you are a beginner, do your first 3 or 4 videos really good, because this is a hallmark of YouTube, and I didn't know that. I just watched one of those videos and he just said, I put out videos, it will be fine. No, it won't. Worst advice ever. Don't listen to this. If you want to have an impression, do it with the first 3 or 4 videos, because YouTube gives you a boost at the very beginning, and because it doesn't know what your content is, it doesn't know how well you will be in the future, and therefore it gives you a big advance. So for example, I have another channel, so at least one of my buddies, and it's about financial advice, pretty boring stuff, and he did it correctly. He did the 3 first videos extremely good, and his start was with 800 subscribers. For that I needed almost 1 year to get this. So as you can see, it's not a fair game in this kind of regard, and he's now about 2000 something, even though he just uploads once or twice a week, but the videos have a high quality, and his start was so significant that he pretty much dwarfs my channel, which is a pain in the ass, but this is the way it is, and therefore very important for you. Make your first 2, 3, 4 videos extremely good. So what is the first thing which is super important? So let's say, for example, you have, I don't know, let's pick out one video, it doesn't really matter which I actually pick. Go into just go into this one. So basically what is super important is here, it's reach, and there it just says how well and here you find this triangle, which is a super interesting thing, because it gives you the impressions and the click rate, which is super important, because first of all, you have the first thing which somebody is seeing is your thumbnail. So if your thumbnail is not looking visually appealing, people will just skip on it and go away. So one of the first things which you need to consider is make the fonts big, put in some faces, because YouTube loves faces, and well, humans love other humans, and therefore they prefer to click on the human than on, let's say, image or something like this. Sometimes maybe they are, but most of the times humans are a little bit more interesting, and then put it into those wacky poses, and this will get lots of clicks on their videos, and the click rate will go up, and so you just have to excuse me, so just to have a little indication, the click rate will go between 2% up to 10 and 15. So if you are having 2% or below, your videos are not doing good at all. So here, first indication, this is quite bad. If you are between 3 and 4%, you're pretty average. And then if you are 4 to 6, you're pretty good. So sometimes I go between 5, sometimes I go 3. It just varies depending. And then if you are between 7 and 10, you're pretty phenomenal. And then if you reach God tier, you're 10 to 15%, which is extremely good. But then comes the kicker, for example, then if your click rate goes up, YouTube sees that, and then it will ramp out your impressions, so it will show your videos more times, and then it will show your videos even not to your core audience, maybe some other people, and then your click rate will go down again, because, well, maybe your videos will be shown to an audience group which is not interested or not as much interested as your core audiences. So here the click rate will go up and down, and it's just saying it is quite dependent on, well, how many people clicked on your video. So for example, this is the first indication, so how many people clicked, this is super important. But then if you are misleading, so if you're showing some boobies or some other stuff, people just click on it, and then in the end you don't deliver whatever you wanted to show with that, and people click away, then YouTube will ramp it down again. So pure clickbait doesn't work. Just to keep that in mind, pure clickbait doesn't work. So if you are doing videos, you have to be between clickbaity, so it is appealing for clicking on that thumbnail, and how long people are sticking to it, because YouTube is interested that you watch as long as possible. Why is YouTube interested in that? Because, well, they can play ads, and if they play ads, they get money from other people, and this is how the whole ecosystem is being paid for. And for example, if you have ad blocker, well, YouTube is not getting money from you at all, because, well, no ads are being played, and then you're pretty much a dud for that. So just keep that in mind. So here, this is symbiosis of your videos, how well they perform, and if they perform better, YouTube will boost you. Will YouTube boost you into infinity? No, but this can have a viral spiraling upwards effect. Of course, this is quite rare. This is rather on topics which are part of the zeitgeist, but here, just keep in mind, this is very, very important. So let's get back to my channel and what we can actually check out here. So let's say, for example, you just started your channel, and then you're greeted with this thing, which is just on a range of, let's say, 28 days. Then you see, okay, so many people actually clicked on your videos, so many hours were played, because this is quite important for you later on. And this is how many subscribers, so abonnenten is just subscribers, that you get, and then it's just saying, hey, 27 more than on a regular basis. And then if you're having AdWords, if you're making money on YouTube through advertising, so YouTube is giving you a part of the portion, then here it says, why am I not having it? Because here you go monetization, and you need 1000 subscribers and 4000 hours viewed. I just have 2000, so I'm not eligible for that. But just keep that in mind. Almost nobody makes money on YouTube with clicks, only the really big hitters. So if they have 200,000 per video and so on, then, well, this becomes more interesting. So let's say, for example, you're having 1000, she did it. Yeah, so here, one interesting, for example, it's called CPM. So per 1000 views, you're getting about average 10 cents, be 7 cents. So I just did it with the worst multiplication. So with my 183 videos, I did a whopping, and now hold your horses, I'm really rich now, $300. So just put that into perspective, how much I'm earning per hour, real working hour, making those videos. This is below 0 point something. So this is terrible. Just big channels can actually perform here and do something better. So here you just know that you're eligible, but first of all, it's not too interesting. But the bigger you are, the more is YouTube interested to display it, and then you dwarf smaller channels. This is the way it works, because if you're having more subscribers, your credibility goes up, and then people see you as an authority figure, even though maybe you are not, and you're just doing some goofy videos, and still YouTube will promote you more than, let's say, a small channel which is maybe more valuable in the perspective of lots of people. But this is the way it goes. Monopolies always drive down, well, the smaller guys. So in here, just a little, let's say, for example, it says best videos in this specific realm, and then it says basics, glow, light and shader. Why is that the best one? Because it has no coding. And yes, I am having tutorials, and this one is just basically explaining how light, glow and shaders are, and therefore most people will stick around, because here it just says how long they were around. So 43% were watching this till 1 minute 51. So this is an average, of course, because this video is about of, what was it, 4 minutes something, 4 minutes 20 or something like this, and then people stick around to almost half. And the other ones, 27, 16%, 17. This is normal thing. I cannot keep the people around because guess what? Tutorials are most of the time not super entertaining. They just want to, well, convey and give you some content, but this content is not easily digestible, like a funny video where crabs are fighting or whatever, and then of course the crabs are more funny, but this is just the way it is. Or maybe because somebody is looking quite good, and this is a very unpopular opinion, but if people are generically or looking upwards, so if they are great in their looks department, if they are charismatic, then they can draw more views in. This is the way it goes. For example, you don't go to the cinemas and want to see average Joe, you want to see those big, beautiful, good-looking, I don't know, heroes. Let's say, for example, Marvel. All are looking, well, quite good, and therefore they are more, well, seen as more, let's call it, more respectable. So this is the thing of psychology. Just keep that in mind. So if you are really good looking, then you have a better chance than somebody who is, well, not so good looking. But of course, it's not just good looks. Of course, you need to have some charisma and you need to have some content. But somebody who is generically, well, has won the genetic lottery is just having an easier time overall. This is just the way it is. Of course, you can optimize left and right. This is another thing, but just keep that in mind. Therefore, you see some really beautiful people, let's say in fitness channels, getting lots of attention because, well, they are beautiful. This is the way it is. So content is not always king, even though YouTube wants you to tell you this. Complete bullshit, in my opinion. There are just some rules which are getting overwritten because, well, we humans are attracted to, well, generically or genetically, well, fit people. This is just the way it is. So another thing, for example, let's say we have here those videos. Let's go for the reach, which is definitely interesting as well. And here you have your unique viewers. This is quite important because every time you put out your video, it's always good that somebody else is watching it, not besides your subscriber. Of course, your current subscribers are always great that they're watching your stuff, but to grow, you need some people from the outside, and therefore unique users, the higher the number, the better it is. And of course, here says just, let's say, the click rate on your impression. So once again, this triangle thingy here, not bad. And here, quite interesting as well. Well, Arten von Zugriffsquellen. This is kinds of Zugriffsquellen. Then what is that in English? So basically, how people are getting on your channel. So the biggest chunk is by YouTube search. So if somebody is actually searching, let's say, game maker, tutorial or something like this, then bam, they find it here. So this is the good thing, because this just indicates if this is the biggest portion that people are finding your stuff. This is quite important because this is how they get to your channel. So at least for mine, because I do almost zero, well, how can I call it, social platforms like Facebook. I don't do any Facebook. I have one Instagram, and I don't even know if I actually use it. I actually don't use it at all, and so on. So I don't use those social platforms. These can catapult you into different areas, but I'm not a fan of that, so I'm leaving it out. People find it organically through searching in YouTube itself. Of course, if you have extern, so this is 6%, so this is a smaller portion of the overall how your videos are being found. This is through the Google search. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, YouTube search, Google search, isn't that the same? No, it isn't. They have two different algorithms which are well, giving you the results you want. So this one is more prominent than the regular search. Then let's say, for example, this thing here is come on, this is, for example, the people which are your subs. So 20% of my all videos are always being from my subs. no, my subs is actually 80%. This is this guy here. Then Kanalseiten, channel sites. This is just people which are on your site, and then they just browse through your stuff. So these stats are pretty okay. But once again, here we come to engagement, and this is where I completely wreck my channel, because it's definitely difficult to see any great improvement, because I cannot hold you guys. This is just absolutely impossible. Coding is quite dry, and at some point I completely understand when you just say, okay, boring, bye, next, and then well, this is the way it goes. So for example, my average view is about 1 minute 50, which is a regular thing, so this is nothing specific. Some channels are even worse than this, so this is pretty okay. So this is a fact of being a creator. So if you're doing more engaging funny stuff, which is definitely more entertainment, because I am less entertainment, then of course your engagement will be higher, you will have more comments, you will grow faster, and so on and so on. But this is the way it goes. So if you're going for tutorials, just know you are pretty much hitting your head against the wall quite a lot of times, so just keep that in mind. And then of course all that stuff you can completely forget that. It isn't too interesting in my opinion. Then of course you can always pick out the time, and maybe one thing which I completely forgot to show, so let's go for unlimited. Now you will see this line, which is kind of curious, and here I will give you an introduction to my channel, because here I had one video, then another one, and between those two things I started in August 2018, and not August, oh, it's actually March, and then one again in September, one video, and then well, I pretty much started my channel at this point, which is, what is it, April 2019, and then I started to upload actually regularly. So here, this area was a complete dud. I didn't do anything, and of course then there was no growth, because YouTube was not giving me any extra. So just saying, okay, 1-2 videos, they're not performing good, because they were performing pretty terrible. Then this was just nothing, and then I started to do it regularly. So the key to your success is make relatively good content, make it appealing, make great thumbnails, and try to keep your people entertained. This is one thing which you always have to do. For example, if you're making a video, answer the comments of the people which are there, because first of all, people who are watching this, then they have a more personal connection to you, and second of all, then they see it more worthy than you're actually spending time with them, then giving them the feeling that they are part of your growth, because this is actually one of the great things about YouTube. You just connect to people who are like-minded, and if you just don't interact besides just uploading videos, then you're wasting a potential, because YouTube put that as a factor as well. So if people are liking your content, if they are sharing, this is the biggest one, and if they are upvoting it, and if they are pressing that stupid bell, or even if you are subscribing, this is just giving YouTube the indication later on, okay, you like the stuff, you actually comment on this, I will show you another video of him or her, and then well, maybe you want to watch that as well. And this is how YouTube actually decides if it's worthy of giving some extra time to you and putting my video or your video into new people. So this is one thing which you need to consider. And here, one very interesting thing as well. Oh, well, wait again, let's go into here. So here I started doing a little bit more frequently, I guess every week, one or something like this, and the tutorials were very difficult to do. So I spent lots of time tinkering on them, but the growth wasn't substantial. And here, what you see when I started really growing was I cut down on the quality. I made, of course, my audio quality a little bit better, so I got better equipment, and then I started to do that quite frequently, every day or every second day. This is how you actually grow. So only quality content, Nah, it doesn't work. You have to put out quantity, because here you see one interesting part. It just says, hey, how many people are actually watching, or how many Aufrufe, how many people actually are watching a video. So 840 in the last 48 hours. And for example, if you're not uploading this amount goes quite rapidly down. So if you're not feeding the beast here, you will get significantly less attention overall. And this is the thing. That's why, for example, there are some YouTubers, I guess one was Tim or something like this, he was uploading 4 to 5 videos a day from the same guy, by the way. Crazy. But this was just spamming the system, but it did actually work, and therefore he became one of the bigger YouTubers. I guess he just does some milquetoast political commentary. You don't really need to know this guy. His opinions are just, I don't know, as milquetoast, as neutral, so there's no worth in that. But still, this guy did it correctly, just spamming the system. Good. But of course, you can do that in the opposite way. So I was watching over a YouTube channel, so one in Germany, and they do financial stuff. And the one thing is, they have a 2,000 something subscriber, or maybe less, I'm not even sure. And what they did, they just spammed the system with videos and videos and videos and videos, but they didn't do good thumbnails, they didn't do any descriptions, they didn't do anything, just uploading, this is it. And that doesn't work on YouTube. So just keep that in mind. If you just think about spamming the system, this doesn't work. It needs to have some consistency. First of all, the biggest one, if you just need to want the biggest one, this is the thumbnail. And after that, if people are sticking around. So these are the two ones you need to, if you're just taking one thing away, thumbnail and how long the people will stick around. So let's go into engagement. So as you can see, once again, nothing, and then the engagement skyrocket here. And here, the target group, which is kind of interesting, because here you will see how many people are actually watching. So for example, 12% putting the stupid bell and are subscribed, so 12 people of which are coming, and the rest is coming basically from the outside. And here 50% of all the video people who watch my videos are not subscribers, which is pretty good in my opinion. So I'm always having people freshly, because they say, I don't want to subscribe, but still they come back from stuff. Of course, 45% watch my videos, good as well. But here I get all the time freshly people coming in. This is kind of accelerating, boosting it upwards. And of course, I am pretty much male dominated because I don't show my face. So 99.9%, 99.1%. So this is a male space, as it seems here. But it doesn't strike me as to be something negative. I just see that most of the people who actually want to learn some deeper concepts of programming, it's just guys. It's just a guy's thing as a hobby, or maybe if you want to learn some programming, it's just guys who do that on the side, and why not? And girls are more likely interested in some other topics. I don't take that personally. And for example, here my core audience is between 25 and 34 and 18 to 24. So basically this is really good, because here I'm pretty much grabbing an audience of people who are prepared to go into deeper concepts, which is programming, because programming is not easy at all. Even though maybe some people say, I learned Java in 1 week, blah 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 blah. You don't. Believe me, you don't. Nobody does that, because this is really hard hitting stuff, and most people struggle. It's like with mathematics in school. At some point, if you repeat it like 5 bazillion times, you know what to do. And therefore, I am not doing that good, because here I'm doing that pretty good because I have a pretty young audience, relatively, of course. And here, for example, here in the case of the other channel which I'm just watching, which had the better kickstart, their core audience is 35 to 4. No, it was 45 to 54. So basically, they are catching on people which are definitely older, and they actually wanted to get on with the younger folk, because the younger folk are in the end the ones which consume most of the YouTube videos. So this is pretty sweet. And here you can actually see the main top countries which are watching me. So United States is 20%. I guess it's not surprising, because, well, I do my tutorials in English, so mainly English countries which have English as their, well, main language would be though. And of course the Americans are, well, quite big in concerning the populace. So you have this. Of course, interesting why it's Brazil as second, but not sure about this. Then UK, so United Kingdom, England, Russia, and then Germany. I don't know, because a lot of people, I guess, are here bilingual, so English is quite important in the German industry. So maybe people actually want this. Not sure about this, but hey, this is the way. And then we go, how much money I'm making? Like, well, no money at all, because, well, I don't have enough hours viewed. So this is the one thing. And for example, let's say I would want to make a video. So for example, what I do, I just, and you just go under video upload. Of course, I don't want to do this. And then you put in, and then you get an info box. So let's jump into one. And this is how I would do it. First of all, if I'm doing a new video, so I first of all need to do quite a few things. First of all, I need to go into Audacity and OBS. So I'm recording two things, a video and an audio. Later on, I will just take the audio and optimize it, so it's a little bit the voice getting deeper and so on. So I need to upgrade that. Then the next thing I want to do is to cut the video and maybe put in some parts, but most of the time I won't be doing this. And then I put them together in a rendering program. For now it's what is it? Shortcut. I guess I'm using Shortcut now. And then I render it. And then the next thing is I produce a thumbnail, which is pretty standard for me. I just change the font and a little bit the image which I'm displaying, so it appeals to you. So you're just seeing, okay, laser, reflection, and then you're seeing a reflecting laser. Aha! So you are getting actually what you want to have. And then, which I saw, for example, this is quite important here. One of the things, if your description is quite short, YouTube will give you a negative for that. So here, make it as keyword friendly as possible. Of course, don't spam it. So what are keywords? First of all, Game Maker Studio is a keyword, tutorial is a keyword, and then of course, which is the thing which is in your video, which is laser. Why do I tell you that? Because YouTube has a very specific algorithm which is going through your video, and then it's just checking off your audio what kind of things you are saying. So if in your audio of your video you're saying things like laser, but they are not in your description or even not in your title, this is pretty bad, and they give you negative for that. And then later on, well, people won't be have less a chance of actually seeing your video. So just keep that in mind. So put in some keywords which are part of your thing, which the people actually want to see. So they want to see a tutorial, they want to see the target platform, which is Game Maker Studio 2 or Game Maker, then laser, tutorial, and again, and then write it so people actually can read it. Because sometimes if you are putting that on Google, then the first 3 or 2 lines are being displayed, then they can check out, okay, this is interesting for me. So all the things are a factor. Are they the most important one? I would say no. The most important one is still how good your thumbnail is and how long people are actually watching. You can even have the worst, you can have completely garbage text in here, but if people are sticking around, people don't just say, okay, people love it anyway, this stuff is not important. But this is let's say, I don't know, 1% or less. And then the other stuff, this is just for me. Then you have some playlists. Why are playlists important? Now go away. Let's go back to YouTube 1 second. Why are playlists important? Because I have seen some channels which are pretty unorganized, and let's say you're having as many videos as me, and then at some point, okay, this is a lot. So how go people about? They just go to a playlist, say, okay, I'm a beginner, maybe I want some advanced or some epic. Where do I have epic? I'm just having 2 videos in here. Then you just jump, and this is how you organize things. Then people actually see, okay, I need to know this, I need to know that, and then they can jump in what they actually want to see. Then the next thing, of course, the thumbnail. Here you can actually make some additional stuff. You don't have to, but I always do that. I tag it. These are again keywords which are really important. For example, I go from a very generic keyword, for example, game maker reflecting laser, and then I can work it down. Let's say, for example, game maker reflecting laser and tutorial, or laser beam, or something like this, which are kind of similar, because some people are just saying, okay, let's say game maker, this would be a live test, game maker laser. So for example, if you do this, and one of my videos is there, or the second one as well. Of course, I'm just seeing it because this is my channel, and then YouTube is doing the little trick of showing me my stuff again. But as you can see, I am being displayed, even though, for example, this guy has 3,000 views, 1,000, not bad, and this guy is 1,000, almost 2k, 8k. So as you can see, this is well, the thing you need to consider. But still, those keywords which you put in here are those keywords which you're seeing here. But for example, if you put in here a green banana, ananas, laser, and so on, YouTube will be confused. And then if YouTube doesn't know where to put your videos, then even though maybe you put in the right keywords, it won't be finding your videos. So this is quite important. For example, here I don't have a keyword 1UP indie, because nobody actually is searching for my name. They're searching for stuff which they need. So this is actually how Google and YouTube are operating. People are having a problem, and then they are searching for the problem with some abstracts. So one of the things which people do is instantly what they want, and just say how to basic blah blah blah. So these are very, very common keywords. And then for example, this is one easy trick. So for example, if you're looking for some easy keywords to use, you just so game maker, this is what I do. Then I say laser. As you can see, those 3 keywords you're getting already automatically for free. They are pretty good. So these are the best ones actually, because this is Google or YouTube search result, and these ones are one of the more the highest one. Of course, if you are going too generic with your keywords, so this is, for example, you can say, I don't know, tutorial. This would, and for example, lots of people are looking for tutorial, but it's so generic that so many people will watch other videos which have the same keyword, then it doesn't make any sense. So therefore, you need to have in your keywords, which you're putting in here, those keywords which you think are relevant for people who are looking for the content you are displaying. So this is quite important as well. What else? So this is all that stuff. So once you see this is quite a lot of work. So for example, if I'm making a video, let's say of 10 minutes, then I'm having 5 to let's say 15 minutes of correcting the video, the audio program. Then I need to put it into the cutter program, which was before Adobe, not Illustrator, but After Effects. But this rendering was just taking ages for, I don't know, 20 minutes. It was just taking, I don't know, 3 hours, something plus. So this was just ridiculous, because my videos have, you can see, very high fidelity. So here, and the higher you go, oh, this one actually doesn't have. This is interesting. Let's go for this guy. Yeah, So this is one of the higher fidelities, and then the higher you go, the longer the rendering will be doing. So this is the thing. But of course, the higher you go, the more YouTube actually likes your video. So this is the thing. But of course, then you will just be blocking your PC because it needs to render and render. So I'm for now finished with the introduction. So basically, once again, to recap it, just go for your if you want to go for YouTube, then just keep in mind, do your first videos extremely good or very thought out. The audio needs to be good, the way you talk needs to be good. So if you don't know this, don't start. Believe me, you will just do yourself, like me, a huge disservice, and then you need to catch up, even though maybe the content is good later on, let's see 2-3 videos later. So just keep that in mind. And then you're thinking, all right, so if you're not making money on YouTube, maybe you can use Patreon, and then this happens. So 47 bucks per month. Okay, let's call it what it is. It's not a lot, even though in Germany we have the highest electricity count. This is not even paying the electricity bills. Just so you just know, this is not a lot. Of course, if you're thinking, okay, so you're not making money on Patreon, you're not making money on YouTube, why are you actually doing this? You don't do this because you're a good human being or something like this. No, YouTube is, besides maybe what a lot of people think, not just for cat videos and some giggles and laughs, because this is the biggest marketing and platform you can actually have, because a lot of people see your videos and then maybe you give them some value for free. So this is, for example, why you're having Google Docs and Gmail and YouTube actually for free. So you're having all those services, but something needs to come back. And what YouTube is doing is collecting your data and selling them to people who actually want to reach you. Because let's face it, sending mails, emails, this is a lot of times just spam. Sending regular mail, just most of the time, for example, if I get it, I just throw it into the garbage bin, because, well, this is where it belongs. So if somebody wants to target you, this is getting increasingly difficult. And for example, there are some privacy laws. You cannot just spam everybody like you wanted to, because then you can get in some really financial troubles. So all that stuff, the traditional way of reaching people, is not possible. So this YouTube is, for example, one way how a company, or let's say a small developer like me, can actually reach people. So I produce some value for you. You are getting video tutorials on a thing which I did kind of beforehand because I wanted to, and I think this will be valuable for you. And then later on, you see my stuff, you know my name, and for example, if I release a game or I sell something, then a small percentage of you will say, maybe I want this could be interesting for me as well. And then I have already this connection established. And this is not a thing which is, in my opinion, not a bad thing, because, well, you are always free to choose what you think is interesting to you. For example, if you're just saying, I just want to have those free tutorials and be on your way, not a problem. But for example, if you're thinking, okay, he's doing some premium stuff, maybe I want to chip in and get some of that too, then of course you are free to do so. Or for example, if you need contact with me, or what I do, I am doing some collaborations with some other developers, then this is the way to go. Because before that, it was difficult to reach other people, but here, this is then my chance to reach the regular developers like you, or just hobby programmers and so on. And then everybody is having some benefits from it. So this is not a negative thing in my opinion. So where and what is my aim for the future? First of all, I definitely want to make video games and sell them. Yes, I want to make money with them. Am I gonna be super rich with this? I wish, but no, definitely not. But still, I enjoy it that much that therefore I just do it, and then in the end if just a small percentage of people actually see my stuff in the stores, then this is just basically free publicity cloud for me, which is pretty good. So if I'm making, let's say, the best game in the world, but nobody knows about me, nobody has seen it, then it will drown in the, well, I don't know how many games are per month in Steam. What was it, like 300 something or even more? Then you're pretty much drowning and you have no chance against the competition. Therefore, this is just for me to have a leg up on this part. So you now understand why I'm actually doing this thing. This is just for me publicity. I'm giving you value and maybe you get some value back to me. So this is a thing beneficial for everybody. And this is how it actually works, because financing it through Patreon, not possible. Maybe if you are quite big as well, but for example, I've seen Sean Spalding's Patreon, and it is he's getting, what was that, 1,600 or something like this. Just to be honest, you cannot live off that. Patreon takes, I don't know, 5 to 10% of the revenue. So the only one which is actually making money is Patreon and PayPal. So these are the people which are actually benefiting of all that stuff immensely. But here, let's go, for example, to Sean Spalding, which I guess the second, or which is the second biggest one. He needed how many years? 2000, so 14 years to reach 120k with 260 videos. But for example, if I keep up my rate, I will be having the same uploads, let's say in 1 year, less than 1 year. So, and I'm having not the same reach, but as you can see, he needed to grow quite long. So 2000 takes up to now. That's quite some time. Of course, ideally I would be really great if I would be one of those game maker studio gods, so if I would be on par with them, but I guess it just needs a few years more along the road. But still, no problem, this is the way it goes. So for example here, these are for example future projections, which is the more interesting part. So let's say, for example, after 5 years I would be on par with them, theoretically at least. So this is the thing. Maybe I can spike it up if I produce a game and it goes viral or something like this, which I definitely don't count on it, but still, this is the way to go. And another thing, for example, if you're looking for some other guys, or if you're, this is actually an interesting topic as well. For example, if you're a YouTuber, you're thinking, oh great, now you're getting all those games for free. So these are the ones which this one declined. So I'm just having some requests, and actually how many keys did I get totally? Note here, which I'm gonna do a video. Pretty beautiful game. I love the way the system works. Outbodies, Noria, and Shakedown Hawaii. This is it. As you can see, you are not getting as many free games as you think it was. Of course, my channel is quite small, and in the end, a developer like those guys here needs to consider, okay, am I getting a value by giving my game for free to this guy? Because in the end, this is just a business transaction. I'm not playing their games until the end. I don't have the time for that, but still, this is the way it goes. And for example, if those guys just give me their keys, then I will definitely be happy, and then I will show them in the games on my video tutorials as a little lightly digestible content, and therefore, as you can see, they're in there. Why not? And then I give them free promotion, so everybody's benefiting. I'm getting the game, and they're getting some free cloud. Of course, for now it's still quite small, but these videos stay forever. At some point, maybe in 5 years, some people come to this video that has not, let's say, 260 views, 2000, and then a few people see, oh, what is that game? And then they buy it. Everybody got their free stuff. Of course, this is one thing. If you are quite large YouTuber, then people send these keys to you, and then the YouTubers actually can demand to be paid to play those games. So then this thing flips around, but I'm a small one, so I need to be at the mercy of those other developers. So this is the thing here. These things, for example, this is Social Blade, quite interesting. So if you want to check out your YouTube site, so here you will see estimates, how much you are earning, and so on and so on, how many subscribers. So this is a pretty thing with some estimates concerning your statistics or from other people. And this is one of the interesting parts. So for example, here you can go for similar ranks, and then I checked out channels which are similar to me. Excuse me. And this one is actually kind of interesting. What was it? All in One. I have no idea who this guy is. And he has 7 uploads. More views. Same subscribers. As you can see, some things go easier and some things go harder. And he did almost no uploads, and he basically virally exploded. Just keep that in mind. Even though you're doing absolutely jack shit, you can grow. So as you can see, if you are willing to be in the ring for tutorials and educational content, just be aware this is the hardest thing you can actually have. Maybe some historian educational content, I guess even harder than this one. So just keep that in mind. It's just obnoxious. Subscribers 1 plus 4, 4, 4. It's actually doing as nothing. 7 uploads. So that was pretty much it. So now you understand how my channel goes, what the statistics are, what you can improve on, what my future projections on, and my last future projection, and then I will be done with this. This video is already long enough, I guess. My future projection is that first of all, I give you this free content, and second of all, what I wanted to do, because I do lots of projects in Game Maker Studio, that in the end I will be having a full engine on a top-down or side-scroller, and then, well, you will get it as a Patreon, or maybe I will sell it, you know, and then you're basically having an almost finished game, and then you just put in your stuff, and then you don't need to worry about hit effects, shaders and all that stuff, because everything will be in there just to be used. But this is a thing which I guess half a year, maybe 1 year, I will be having a really good prototype for that, and then everything will be ready. Of course, if this channel grows, if for example my patrons becoming bigger, this is one of the goals. If I'm having 70 patrons, then I will be putting, besides my projects, I will be hiring one artist, and then you will getting, besides those projects, you will be getting art. And then will be of course CC free, so everybody can use it, which is the Patreon, and this is will be great. So I will be having projects, and besides art, which is pixel art, because this is my thing, and then you will be having a great package in the future. But for now, the future looks like this. But this is the thing which you need to understand. YouTube is work. It's not fun. Of course it can be fun, but not in this segment. So just keep that in mind. So if you went through all my rambling until this point, I guess you are, let's say, less than 1%, so salute to you, and see you in a regular tutorial. Have a great day. One up Indie.